Okay, here's my sound preferences. I like a variety of different tunings, but really what gets my juices flowing, starting from the lower octaves, is in the bass. I like my bass punchy, tight, fast with a kick. I like a little bit of energy down there, maybe a little bit of warmth, but not too much into the getting into bass bleeding. It's got to have enough weight to make male vocals, make piano, cello, percussions, have the right tonality. When it comes to my mids, I do like my mids and mid clarity, but I don't like too forward a mid, so that's the upper mids I'm talking about. So keep the pinna gain down a little bit and not make it too forward a presentation. And when it comes to the highs, I do like my sparkly highs. At my age, I'm probably losing a little bit of the high frequencies. But not too much where it's sibilant and in your face. So that's what I like.
Trying to stay alive, I'm eating minerals and vitamins. I tell the times of tales of principles when I begin. It's not very nice, and hell, I've seen it all in vitamin. And only time can tell the nights prevail, we slice it thin. I've been a fool and witnessed in the walls are sinking in. Without a pause, I see these intervals all interlink. I'm lyrical, I watch the silver spoon turn into pink. I'm running thin on ink, my tentacles begin to drink. Yeah. So anything could happen. Watch my brother undercover, every hint of passion. Take my number, no more suffering, begin the action. No runners up, don't give a fuck, I twist it in a fraction. Rings of Saturn, circling my imperfections. Is this a pattern? Bursting from the indigestion. Big reactions, servicing the intervention. This is fashion, gurning at the intersection.
Wishful incidents. Blissful ignorance. Submissive innocence. Until the bad intentions influence.
So I pray to love, I pray to spirit. Soak it up and take a minute. Oh, to us we raise the village. Switch it up and change the image. And now we up enough to win it. Round it up and touch the finish. There's no luck if there's no limit, like. The time is now, I can't give in. I find the sound and let it spin. I run it round a couple times until I find where to begin. I load the sample, pitch it down until we round enough to grin. Then we take time to enjoy it. Float through melodies, rhyme and deploy. As I go through memories, I hide with my choice. And that's the type of energy defined in my voice. Like, can you hear the clarity withheld in my tone?
And tonight we have a new one from Myer-Audio. That was a bloody terrible Top Gear impression. Sorry, guys. That was bad. The IM is beautiful. We can go from there. Really pretty, actually. This abalone seashell top faceplate surrounded kind of by just a little bit of a silver ring. Myer-Audio is getting better and better. I really do like this one. This one is the SL224, $269. Inside is two dynamic drivers, a 10mm and a 6mm driver. And the two customized, not brand specific, balanced armatures and 4 microplanars. Which is part of why this one sounds so good. This is a very balanced out IM. Now, what comes in the box, which is quite pretty, they're actually up in their game here too. On the back, it tells you just about the brand, and on the side, it actually shows you a frequency response curve, which I'm really happy with this brand because their frequency response curves are legitimate, like they look like the 711 couplers that you're used to seeing following Hi-Fi. So that's really nice. They're legit. They're not squished. They're not trying to fudge anything over on you. So comes with this baller, absolutely baller modular cable. Beautiful, kind of like a silvery, which matches the aesthetics of the driver very, very well. Did I say modular? So again, these are coming out of the same factory as Dunu. The quality controls are very high, and I love these kind of screw together modular ends. Comes with 4.4, comes with 3.5, and it comes now, like a lot we see, with USB-C. And I think that's absolutely terrific, giving you probably all of the ways that you could want to listen to it, and you don't need a dongle, which again, really, really nice touch. So everything about this little IM shell shape, again, is kind of on the medium to large side. It's got this kind of wing on it, which really, really fits well in my ears. I think out of all the Myer-Audio so far, this one with this shell shape for my medium large ears fits perfectly. Again, that typical size nozzle. I didn't measure it, but it looks around... Actually, it looks a little bit bigger than 6 mil. Hold on. Whipping out the digital caliper, we got a measurement for the nozzle on the large 6.15 is the size of the biggest size of the nozzle. For you, those of you who have smaller ears, and might be an issue, but typically these days we see most of them have around that 6 millimeter nozzle diameter. So on my set, I'm using the Elitech Baroque ear tips. Super soft, super comfy. They work great for me. Many hours in ear, no fatigue. Love them to death. They're just freaking expensive. Some observations upon first listen. One of the big things that I noticed was this IM scales like crazy, and it needs power, honestly, to get there. So my first observation was, not a great low volume set. Medium high is where you want to go. And because of the frequency response curves, it will certainly allow you to do that. And with the configuration of the 4 microplanars, don't freak out. There is a very nice top end on this that I found was fatigue free, even with me being a little treble sensitive for those spikes. And speaking of let's go from the bottom all the way up. It's not bassy. It's not a bass head IM. The bass is very nice, very tactile. I really like this bass. Hits that really nice balance of sub bass, mid bass, where it still pulls low, but yet gets some weight and body into the lower bass and the lower mids. So very nice and textured, filled out. Does take a back seat sometimes to the upper mids, which aren't elevated in too much. So it depends on the track, depends on the source. There you go. Treble extension. I want to touch base on this because it's one of the strong parts of this IM. It has great treble extension. With those 4 microplanars in there, they do an amazing job. There is none of that BA metallic timbre that some people are sensitive to. There's no, sometimes they call it BA glare, and it doesn't have the planar sharpness, though, like the hyper sharpness that you get on a full-size planar. I find sometimes they can come across as too honest. It doesn't really have that. It just has a really nice tonality, and it makes violins and strings and instruments sing beautifully. Very nice. And I wrote, listening to the first one, do the mids sound correct, tonality, timbre-wise? And then I wrote my notes after, again, critically listening. This is one of these IMs that is easy to get lost into the music, and you actually have to go back and put your critical listening hat on and open up your ears and take a good listen to it and pick it apart if you can. So I wrote yes and no. Some of the elevated upper mids do get pushed a little forward, just a little tad, and that's okay because I think it adds a lot of excitement to the mix and dynamics. I really like that in an IM. So orchestral music again sound full and dynamic and full of excitement. The only niggle I would have about the tuning and the 224 was I noticed on a few busier tracks the mids would get slightly congested. Now, taking a deeper dive into the sound, I think the bass comes through full and quite textured, never overbearing, nicely balanced into the mix. Lower string instruments like guitar sound full. Piano sounds great, correct, nicely weighted, great hit and attack. And when there's something that does pull low into the track, the 224 can do it. No whims, qualms about it at all. Super clean mid-range. And with the added energy in the ear gain region, makes the playback full and engaging. Never shouty and never too pushed forward. Stage is quite wide, has good spatial clues. Very immersive. No complaints in the stage department whatsoever. Is it a standout 3D stage? No, but definitely engaging and pulls you in. So no complaints there. Go back to the highs again. I really love the highs. They're clean, they're crisp, and they show good air and extension. And again, I really like the fact that they have a very nice tonality in the treble. Like those 4 microplanars do a great job up top. Overall, I feel the 224 is a very well-tuned IM and utilizes the drivers that were chosen very well for a very full and balanced presentation. It's a great combination in this IM of fun with some technical chops, leaning more onto the fun side and a colored tuning than neutral, and sits well with a very large genre and different choices of music. So it's a good all-rounder, I think. I think again I'm gonna fault the congestion in the upper mids, making the tonality slightly off. If you were sitting and listening to this, critically listening to this, instead of just kicking back into the music, you might pick that up, but otherwise you wouldn't. Now, remember, part of my job helping to listen to this and explain it to you is critically listening to it and trying to pick it apart and find its faults, and I can't find a whole lot. So the CK2V, the one I previously reviewed for $179, I prefer more because it has more bass. That's just me, but this is the more balanced of the two. And so that's how those two compared. Very similar top end. I actually like the top end. Probably the same in the two IMs. But I also like the more bass. So that was me. And I want to do another comparison to an IM, and this one was the EPZ P50. So this was an open back 1DD 2BA 2 microplanar. So very similar configuration. And when I was listening to some Adele, Rolling in the Deep, the 224 in comparison sounds. And the difference between the two. So the 224 has a much larger shell. They actually, for me, I prefer the size and the fitment of this one better than the EPZ P50, which for me is just a little bit smaller shells. I like the size and the fit and the shell shape of this one over. So that's me. That's subjective. The P50 has, in sound-wise, more bass, but the 224 has better bass texture. So, and then sometimes, big time, for me, I prefer quality over quantity. And in this case, the 224 wins out over the P50 for that. When it comes to vocals on the P50, they come through cleaner and more defined and more organic. So in the mid-range versus the two balanced armatures used in the P50 versus the 224, I prefer whatever's going on in the EPZ P50. Words as Weapons by Seether. Same experience as I just mentioned. The P50 has the better playback overall because it had better vocal clarity for some rock. So the 224 has a tad more treble, though it doesn't come out or sounding as balanced than the P50 with that lower bass shelf. So the open back on the P50, what does that do? Wins for a bigger, more spacious soundstage. So that was a very interesting comparison. If I were looking in the last two Myer-Audios, the CK2V and the 224, if I were looking for a more balanced IM, the 224 would be the one that I would pick up in that case, and the CK2V would be the more let's go party IM out of the two. So that's how those compared. Overall, I think this is a really, really good sounding IM. It's competing though in a whole bunch of, in that sub $300 price range. There is so many out there that are hitting that. Is it standout? Good question. I think it stands on its own because of those 4 microplanars and the top end. So again, if you prioritize a balanced and an IM that had really nice treble, air, and extension without pushing it too far, even if you were treble sensitive, this would probably be a good choice to pick up. And again, if you had some power behind it and you're not a low volume listener. So like the a Fool Explorer, it's not a low volume set. It is a medium to high volume set. And I think the SL224 is in that category as well. So the only other thing that I would say feedback to Myer-Audio is please give us a little bit larger case. Though it does fit into this little case, I just need some more breathing room, right? That's it. And then maybe a case with a little mesh pocket up top here too. Like I like the one that Keyfine uses. It's the same as the nice HCK, that kind of stuff. I really like that little case. More usable, more pocketable in my opinion. That's really the only negs I can say on this one. And this one's got some good competition. Like it's got the Sept head in there. It's got the Soft Ears Volume S. Again, those are tuned a little bit differently. The Sept head is definitely a more energetic set up top than this one. So this one kind of has a lot of energy up top, but never going too far, where the septet might, for some people, push it over the edge too far if you're treble sensitive, where the 224 really comes out as a more balanced set. So if that's what you're looking for, this one might fit the bill. I enjoyed my time with it. Off to the Canucks Audioholics for some more reviews. Catch us on Hi-Fi Guides and our new Facebook page, Canuck Audioholics Anonymous. That's where you'll find us. Thanks so much.